People say past experience and knowledge will not always help to solve today's problems. In order to solve today's problems, you need to think in today's context, in today's perspective, what created it. Hi, my name is Girija Shankar. Today I am going to talk about the different ways of solving a problem. If you encounter a problem, how do you go about it? I remember Einstein once said that you cannot solve a problem with the same level of consciousness, the same level of thought process, what created it. So it means you cannot solve a problem with the same level of thought process. You need to go beyond. You need to think out of the box in order to solve the problem. And here are the 3 stages of a problem. The stage number 1 is emerging stage. It means the problem is at a very early stage. And at this stage, you can think of putting some proactive fixes or proactive solutions in order to prevent the problem from occurring. And the second stage is maturing stage. It means the problem has already occurred. You cannot prevent this problem, but because the issue has already taken place. But rather, you can put a workaround solution in order to stop further growing into a crisis, and then put a permanent solution to this. The third stage, which is the last stage of a problem statement or problem, is the crisis stage. It means the problem has already grown multifold that it is a crisis that the teams or yourself you need to handle. And at this stage, firefighting is the only solution. You need to firefight, and at the same time you need to bring it down to in a controllable stage as soon as possible. And how do you go about attacking a problem statement? That is where I will talk about the different stages. How do you go about addressing a problem? And there are 6 stages. How do you go about it? Step number 1, you need to identify the problem. You need to identify and define the problem statement. And people say that once you define the problem statement properly, consider that you solve the problem already 50%. Many a times you do not know, as managers, as leaders, we do not know what the problem we are trying to solve. But still we do firefighting on a daily basis. So rather than being transactional, let's try to understand, hey, what is the problem that I am planning or trying to solve. And the second stage is analyze the problem statement. Understand what has created this problem and what are the different dimensions of the problem and how the problem is impacting your day-to-day life. Again, as I said, the problem can be a personal problem or it can be a professional problem. So analyze. You can get down and you can do a proper root cause analysis. That is the third stage. And how can you do the root cause analysis? That is where there are different charts, different ways to do that. There is a Pareto analysis and there is a YY analysis. And the most commonly used root cause analysis is nothing but the 5Y analysis. So whenever there is a problem statement, you try to ask at least 5 times why it has happened. Once you ask why 5 times, it will take you to the root of the problem. And so that you are not dealing with the symptoms of the problem, but rather you are dealing with the root of the problem. Then comes look for alternate options in order to solve your problem. And there can be workaround solution, there can be permanent solution. You need to think of what are the different options that you have in order to solve a problem. Some of the options can be expensive and some of the options can be less expensive. So it is up to you to find out what kind of solution or what kind of options you need to adopt at this point of time that will help you to put a stop to this problem statement. In my own practice, I always apply a workaround which may be of less cost, less effort, in order to prevent further growth of the problem before I put any kind of permanent fix or permanent solution to it. And then comes develop alternate solutions. You may have one type of solution. Once a problem has been put to a halt and it has not been fixed permanently, it has just been halted. You think of what are the different alternate ways of solving the problem. If you think there are other alternate ways in order to solve a problem, and that is better in terms of cost as well as effort, you explore those alternative options and then choose which one is the best recommended solution in terms of effort, solution, and on multiple aspects you can think of. That is why you do the alternate options in order to find which one could be your best solution. And then comes implementing the solution. You may have already implemented the workaround solution, but now this is time to implement the permanent solution. Permanent fix so that it is not going to reoccur in future. And once you implement the solution, it is time for you to measure the results. You can measure the results, you can ensure that, or you can evaluate, or you can check the same problem is not reoccurring. And at the same time, you also need to see that hey, the solution what you have applied, that is not causing any adverse impact to the functions or the feature of the product or the problem what has come to you. So these are all the 6 stages of solving a problem. How do you go about it? Let me repeat that again. First is identify and define the problem statement. Point number 2, analyze the problem statement. Point number 3, do a root cause analysis of the problem. Point number 4, identify the alternate solutions. Point number 5, implement the solution. And point number 6 is measure the results. So this is what I wanted to cover today as part of the problem solving. And if you think this is useful and if you have any queries, feedback or suggestions, please do comment below this video. Thank you.